Hello, third graders. It's Miss Clay again, and I'm going to give you a little lesson on fractions on a number line today. So hopefully you've made some fraction strips. Those will help you out as you're working through this lesson. So go ahead and watch that video. Make your fraction strips first. All right, so let's get started. We've been working with fractions for a couple weeks now, and most of the time we've been seeing fractions a couple different ways. So I'm going to use the example of 1/4. Okay, we know that the number on top is called the what? Hopefully you guys were right, numerator. Okay, we know that the number on the bottom is called the denominator. Okay, now these two numbers tell us what the fraction is that is shown. So here's one example that we've seen. We've seen fractions of a whole. So let's use a circle as an example, although we know that it could be any other shape or item. So if we have one whole circle here, the denominator tells us that this circle is going to be split into 4 equal parts. The numerator tells us that one of these parts is counted. So there we go, 1/4 of a whole. We've also seen 1/4 of a group of objects. So here's what that would look like. We could have squares. The denominator tells us that we will have 4 of them. And the numerator tells us that one of them is going to be counted. So just like we can show fractions these two ways, we can also show fractions on a number line. So let me show you what that would look like. And I'm going to use my fraction strips to kind of help me out here. So again, using the example of 1/4, each of these is 1/4. All 4 of them shows a whole, all 4 pieces. So if I was going to turn this into a number line, I would draw my number line here, and I would label 0. We always want to show 0 on our number line. And I would label that the end is 1 whole. Just like this is 1 whole circle, all 4 of these are all the pieces that are counted. This whole number line is 1 whole. Okay, now if I want to show 1/4 on the number line, first I'm going to divide my number line into 4 sections. So I'm going to use my strips to help me. Here's one section, here's another section, and that makes 4 sections total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of those sections is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Now, if I was just going to show the fraction 1/4, like I showed here and here on the number line, I'm going to now count just one of those sections. So I might even move my fraction strips off to the side now. Oops, one of them fell. I might even use a hop, which we've used before in number lines. Now that is 1 hop, 1 section out of 4 sections. And that would be 1/4. So to show it, I'm going to put a big dot to mark that spot, and I'm also going to label it 1/4. So here you have it, 1/4 shown 3 different ways. 1 piece out of 4 colored, 1 section out of 4 colored, 1 section on the number line out of 4 colored. Awesome. Okay, moving on. The next thing I want to show you guys is that there's 2 different things that we're going to ask you to do this week. So this paper is included in your Google Classroom, and it's just another example of how we can show fractions as number lines. So just like you could line up your fraction strips that you made, we could show from 0 to 1 whole broken into 2 pieces. And if we had that, this would be 1/2, and then this would be 2 halves or a whole. Okay, another example would be 4ths. So if we had a number line from 0 to 1 split into 4 pieces, this would be 1/4, this would be 2/4, this would be 3/4, this would be 4/4, or 1 whole. So this is just a tool to help you out. If you have a printer, you can print it. All right, so the first thing that you're going to be asked to do this week is to find a fraction on a number line. Okay, so that would mean that you would already be given, a number line, and you would need to label the number line and then find the fraction that they give you, okay? So in this case, you would look at the line, here it is from 0 to 1, and you would see how many pieces it's divided into first. So we see that this is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So that tells us that the denominator is going to be 8, the bottom number of our fraction, because there's 8 pieces total. Next, you count how many spaces over the point is. So this big blue point that's already on the number line, that's the fraction that they're showing us. To find it, we know now that the denominator is 8. To find the numerator, we're going to count over how many spaces the point is. 1, 2, and 3. So the space is over 3, the point, is over 3 spaces, so the numerator is 3. The fraction that's here on the number line is 3/8. Awesome. A second thing that you're going to be asked to do this week is to show a fraction on a number line. So in this case, you'll be given the fraction instead of the number line, and you need to find where you would put 1/4 on the number line. So here's the steps you want to take. First, divide the line into 4 pieces. That's what the denominator tells us there will be. So take your line that you have from 0 to 1 and divide it into 4 equal pieces. So, okay. Then you can label each section if you want, or that can be something you do later. You're going to now count 1 space over. This is where 1/4 is. Look, Miss Clay misspelling where. Oh boy. Let's fix that. Boop. Okay. So once you have 4 pieces divided on your number line, to now show 1/4, we're going to start at 0. We're going to hop 1 hop over. That will be 1/4. We're going to put a dot there. Now to finish showing the whole number line, this might even be a good time to take your fraction strips back out to help you. This would be 1/4. This would now be 2/4. This would now be 3/4. And finally, 4/4 would make 1 whole. Okay, so let me show you a little bit of your workbook pages that we're going to ask you to do. Follow along with me on this page. You can be doing it on your own paper, you can be doing it on a whiteboard, or you can just be watching until there's work that you need to get done. As usual, we always start with a word problem. Billy's family is traveling from his house to his grandma's house. They stop at a gas station when they are 1/4 and 3/4 of the way there. How can you represent those distances on a number line? You can use a number line to show fractions, like I just showed you. The length from one whole number to the next whole number represents 1 whole. Okay, so that's from 0 all the way to 1. The line can be divided into any number of equal parts or lengths. So basically they're saying we can show any fraction on the number line. Here's one other kind of key idea. A point on the number line shows the end point of a length or distance from 0. A number or fraction can name that distance. So they're saying to show the fraction, we have to put a point or dot on the number line. Okay, so let's look now at our number line. They've already got some things done for us. We know that this is 0. We know that this is 1 whole. Since this is a word problem, we also have some of the words here. They started at Billy's house, they ended up at Grandma's house, and we need to show 2 fractions of where they stopped. We need to show 1/4, we need to show 3/4. So again, you can use your fraction strips here if you made some, or you can kind of just fill in or follow along with me. So first we want to divide the line into 4 equal lengths because 1/4 and 3/4 both have 4 as the denominator. So we can use fraction strips, line them up end to end above the line to help us. So this is 1/4. So where 1/4 ends, we're going to put a section there. Then we're going to put another 1/4, add a section there. We're going to put another 1/4, add a section there. Another 1/4 completes it. So now we have our line divided up into 4 sections. We marked it. That was step 2. Step 3, count the fourths from 0 to 1 to label the distances from 0. So this is where we're thinking, if this is 0 of 4 pieces, what would this be? What would this be? What would this be? So this is 1/4. Okay, if there's now another 4th, that means we have 2/4. If we're hopping one more to the next section, we now have 1, 2, 3/4. And finally, they already did it for us. One more section would be 4/4, which is the same as 1 whole. The whole line is counted, okay? Okay, last 2 steps. Step 4, draw a point at 1/4 to represent the distance from 0 to 1/4 and label the point G1. So now we need to go on the number line. We need to go right where 1/4 is. Maybe it's okay. And we're gonna draw a dot and we're gonna label it G1. Finally, step 5, think 3/4. Draw a point at 3/4 to represent the distance from 0 to 3/4 and label the point G2. So this is the second place where they stopped at a gas station. So we're going to find where 3/4 is. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. We're gonna draw a dot and then we're gonna do G2 for gas station 2. So here's an example of how you will find or locate fractions on a number line. All right, we're turning the page. One more example to show you. Thanks for hanging in there. Take a quick brain break, stand up, stretch your arms really high like you're reaching for the sky, bend over, touch your toes, bend one knee, bend the other, then stand all the way up, shake out your wrists, and then take another seat back down. All right, we might need some colors for this section, so I'm gonna grab my markers so they're handy. All right. This is an example of how you might have to complete the number line to name the point. So there's already a point drawn for us, and what we have to figure out is what fraction names the point on the number line. Okay, so first we want to think. This number line is divided into 6 equal lengths, or 6. So we can already see that. Okay, so we know that there's 6 sections on this number line. Okay, the length of 1 equal part, see they have it so that as if there's fraction strips down. So one of these lengths is called 1/6, okay? So the next thing we want to do is we want to shade the fraction strips to show the location of the point. So this is where I'm going to get a color, and I'm going to shade the strips all the way until I get to where the point is located. And there is where I'll stop because that's where the point is. So I know that each of these is 1/6. I know that the bottom number for my fraction, my denominator, is going to be 6 because there's 6 equal parts. Now I need to find where the point is. So I'm going to start by labeling each part of the number line. It's already labeled from 0 to 1. The fraction strips are there, and all I need to do is label the fraction that's shown. So here's 0/6. This would be 1/6. This would now be 2/6. This would be 3/6. 1, 2, 3. This would now be 4/6. This would now be 5/6. And then one more section would make 6/6 or 1 whole. Okay, so there are blank out of blank equal lengths shaded. So now that I have those labeled, how many of the pieces are actually shaded? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So there are 5 shaded out of 6 because there's 6 lengths total. I just figured out what my numerator and my denominator is. So my answer is 5/6 names the point. The point is drawn where 5 out of 6 pieces are shaded. So that's an example of how you will need to write the fraction that the point is naming or is showing, okay? So on Google Classroom, you'll find a picture of the rest of this page, share and show, and the rest of the next page on your own. So what you'll need to do is take a piece of paper that you have at home, copy down the number 1, and then draw a picture to match what's here. So you'll need to draw a number line. You'll need to label it 0 and 1. Then you'll need to draw sections to match what's on here. So this particular number line is split into 3 sections. Draw fraction strips over the top and then follow the directions. And it says complete the number line. So to complete the number line, you'll need to write what each fraction is that's shown and then draw a point to show 2/3. So finally, after you finish writing what each fraction here is shown, you'll need to draw a point on the number line where 2/3 can be found, okay? So remember the steps for that. We know that there's 3 sections, so the denominator is going to be 3. The numerator is going to show how many pieces are counted. So here's 0 pieces. Here's 1 piece, so this would be 1/3. Here's 2 pieces, so this would be 2/3. Here's 3 pieces, so this would be 3/3. Okay? Once you have that, it'll be pretty easy for you to see where 2/3 is. Draw a dot where that can be found. The next one asks you to write the fraction that names the point. So this one's a little different. The number line's already drawn for you. The fractions are already written for you. And at the top, you can see the fraction strips. These are in 8ths. So you know there's 8 pieces. This is 0/8, 1/8, 2/8. So what is point A showing? This is 4/8, 5/8. So what is point B, C showing? Write those here. Next page is very similar. Copy it down on a piece of paper and follow the directions. It's asking you to use fraction strips to help you to complete the number line. So finish drawing the whole number line. Then locate and draw a point for the fraction. So put 2/6 on the number line. 1/2, 2/3, and then the last problem is write the fraction that names the point. So C, D, and E. Figure out which fraction each of them is showing. Okay, 3rd graders, that's it for this week. Good luck. Take your time, use your brain, do your very best, and remember you can rewatch this video, you can use your fraction strips, and you can look at all the images that I posted on your Google Classroom. Thanks for watching.